is Tina Jackson, and I work the front desk.
So my name is Tiara Motes. I'm the one who works the 10 to 6 shift at night. So I'm here all night.
I'm April Overholt. I am a jack of all trades here. I do the desk, I do the floor.
So before you started working at the inn, did you hear any rumors or anything talk around town about, oh man, that place is haunted or anything?
No, I did not hear anything about that.
I've heard stories, because we would go past here all the time.
My boyfriend's family, they've all kind of worked here. So once I actually started, I got, some of the stories from them about certain things.
Colonel Aaron Stockton, he built this place for him and his wife, which would be the woman in the white dress. And they had 2 children, a little boy and a little girl.
I know that he was a Confederate soldier, and I know this place was kind of like a hospital treatment.
1839, the sign is hanging out there, is the first time they applied for license so they could have a stagecoach stop per se, so they could they sold alcohol, of course. And but that was the first time I read that they acquired for license. Have you noticed the width of that door in the Stockton dining room? It's probably twice as wide as a regular door. That's where the stagecoach stopped. But why would they need the door that wide? The ladies in their big hoop skirts, plus, of course they didn't have suitcases, they had trunks. And the trunks were brought through that door.
I usually hear the colonel upstairs, but I did remember hearing a little girl before. She just said, "Hey girl." Like, I'm just looking around because I'm thinking, is that a little girl guest? And I'm like, wait a second, there's nobody in-house. I'm like, the little girl finally talked to me.
Well, the children, I was in the Stockton dining room one night and I was dusting. And a little girl from behind me said, "Well, hello there." And I just turned around and looked and there was nobody here. There was nobody. Children playing over in that corner. And they were just laughing, having a good time. And I come in here and looked, and there was nobody once again. And something happened. This wasn't very funny. It scared us, actually. John was working here, and I was here, and we were going through the kitchen. And there was a glass bowl. It was clear up on the top. We had never put glass bowls up there before, and it fell between, he was first and then me, and it fell and shattered into a million pieces. That was scary.
It was actually with someone who worked as a dishwasher. We were back in the Riverside dining room. The lights were off, so I couldn't see him, and I could hear like something pushing him. Like, I could hear his shoes scuffing up. He said that there was like some kind of dark spirit back there that did not like him.
I haven't really directly seen anything. I've definitely felt, cold breezes over my shoulder. Like, I'll hear a noise and I'll look over and then I'll feel that breeze across my back. I'll walk through that bakery area where I told y'all that people will see a gentleman. I haven't seen him directly, but as I'm walking by, you'll catch a shadow in your peripheral and you'll look over and there's nothing there. I'm totally open with them to show themselves to me, and I think that's why they don't necessarily mess with me so much, because I'm open with it.
You can hear people walking up on 2nd floor, and you can hear kids running back and forth up on 2nd floor. I see things out of my peripheral vision a lot, but it's not really anything that scares me.
Okay, so one of my favorite stories I like to tell is the night I was training a new guy for the front desk. We were in the men's bathroom cleaning, and the light started flickering. Now, usually if a light is about to go out, you can hear it. So I'm holding my ear up to it. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm listening to see the light's gonna go out. And he says, I don't hear anything. And I'm like, oh, it's just one of the ghosts talking to us in Morse code. And he's like, well, what are they saying? I'm like, I don't know Morse code. And it stops instantly. And I've seen things like out of the corner of my eye. I hear things every now and then, but I've never actually like seen something.
In room 102, there was an incident that a man and his wife came to stay, and when they walked up to the desk to check in, right off the bat, the gentleman said, "Is this place haunted?" So his wife reached over and kind of smacked him on the arm, and she said, "Don't start that." And he said, "She doesn't believe in this stuff, but I do." And I said, "Oh, okay." So of course I wasn't going to go in with my story. And anyway, the next morning, they came out, was getting ready to check out, and he said, called her by name and said, "Come over and tell her what you experienced." And during the night, she said she was woken by what she felt was someone staring at her. So she opened her eyes and sat up, and there was a man standing there with her, or looking at her, and he had a military hat, uniform, and the whole 9 yards on. Had a long white beard, and she said he was just standing there looking at her. So she just kind of froze. She didn't know what to do. And she said by the time she got her husband awake, he had just disappeared into the door.
Nobody's ever really gotten so scared where they've just, since I've worked here anywhere, where they've left in the middle of the night. But I had a woman tell me one time that she was real freaked out because she was here by herself, and she's heard things. And she was staying by herself. She was an older woman. And at the end of her stay, I wasn't here in the morning, but the desk clerk from the morning shift did tell me that she left pretty freaked out. I don't know if she necessarily experienced anything or if she, was just freaked out from knowing she was by herself.
I did get told about the twin little girls up in 211. There was some guests that was staying in 211, and they said that they felt like something was watching them. So when each of them kind of looked at the end of the bed, the twin little girls were just there watching them.
So there was a group of men working on the building here, and he had gone into the bathroom, and the power had just kicked off for a couple of seconds, and he was coming out of the stall as the lights were still off, and he thought he saw a gentleman standing there, and he went to look up and tell him, "Oh, sorry, excuse me." And when he actually looked up, there was nobody there, and then the lights came back on. And he came out of that bathroom pale as a ghost, so white, freaked out, telling us about it. He was uneasy the rest of the time he was here.
I mean, we had something with a guest not too long ago, literally almost a week ago, something happened. So there was 4 people staying in room 106 down the hall. And they were really interested in all this ghost stuff. So I told them my stories. I told them about some things that's happened, and they were really interested by it. I think the guy was a little scared, but the girls seemed interested. So then the next morning I had to work over while waiting for my fellow desk clerk to come and relieve me. And the girl walks up to me to give me her key, and she told me about what happened to her. Apparently something had lifted up the girl's foot, and she said that the grass felt kind of cold. I'm like, it's probably just one of the kids messing with you or something. The colonel, a little girl, a little boy, the twin girls, the lady in white, and whatever spirit that did not like Cody.
The colonel is what they call him. There's a gentleman, and he don't like the F word.
So the story goes that if you drop the F-bomb in that kitchen, the colonel is gonna throw and break a plate. But I think he also likes to knock down some pots and pans.
I started hearing about the woman in white, and she was the nurse during the war.
The the thing is, whenever people ask if this place is haunted, it's kind of difficult to answer. Because, like, do you consider friendly spirits a haunting? Like, seriously. I'm always telling them, you know, they're friendly spirits. You're going to be fine. All honesty, I'm like one of the only people that's actually brave enough to do this shift. Like, it's scary at first. Watching horror movies before coming here, probably not the best idea. I don't recommend it. But once you've memorized all the different sounds you hear throughout the night, then it's not so scary. Yeah, I think I've become more open to it over the last few years. I mean, I especially love it whenever the guests tell me about their experience. You'll definitely want to go up to the 3rd floor.
I mean, with my main experience and what I've heard other people experience, definitely in the bathrooms. You know, like, they do like to go up and down the hallways. They'll mess with the lights in the hallways. They'll flicker. Some of the rooms that y'all have heard, like 208, and those I'd focus on, definitely. The bakery. And I've had most of my energy feelings when I felt something has been right behind the desk. There's like a laundry area and a mop bucket. Mostly by the mop bucket, I experience vibes, energy, you know, the hair on the back of my neck sticking up.
Don't be scared. They're not going to do anything bad to you.